Today I want to talk about AXI Select, which is a prop firm that is very unconventional. So instead of paying $600 for like a 100k challenge, AXI Select prop firm model lets you deposit on a live account and you trade your live funds, and then they give you what's called an allocation account. And on this allocation account, your live trades that you place on your live account are basically copied with leverage. So if you risk $10 on your live account, you can see that I currently have a times 8.2 multiplier. So if I risk $10 on my live account, I'm making $82 on my allocation account. And you can level up. You can see that you start at 5,000, then you go at 20,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, and then a million. And essentially you're still trading your live account and it's just copying your trades with leverage. So that's essentially what AXI Select prop firm model is. And in this video I'll be breaking it down a bit more and show you the different stages and what's required and so forth. Once you sign up for your AXI Select account, you just head to funds and you make your deposit. You can see that my current deposit is $660. So this is the money currently in my live account. This is my own personal money. So after you make your deposit, you won't see this dashboard. So to be able to see this dashboard and get all the statistics, you have to place 20 trades and you have to have a minimum edge score of 50. So once you deposit your money, you will not see all of this stuff. You have to place 20 trades first and acquire a minimum edge score of 50. And your edge score, it's essentially a score that AXI Select generates. It covers 3 criteria. It covers skill, risk, consistency, and experience. And as long as you do all of this well, you manage your risk, you have experience, and this is just trading for a long time without blowing your account. You're consistent, meaning that you take losses well and you recover from losses well, and skill is just how good your trading is. So it aggregates all of these different criteria and give you an edge score. And you can see that my edge score is currently 85. As long as you don't trade like a caveman, your edge score should be okay. So that's how you generate your edge score, and that's the first thing that's required to even enter the seed stage. So you deposit a minimum equity of $500. I'd recommend depositing maybe about $600. That's what I did. I deposited $600 initially just to give you a bit of buffer from the minimum equity and a bit more confidence and so on. So once you place your 20 trades and you have an edge score of 50, this is when you get this amazing dashboard right here, and you can click this go to dashboard button and it will give you an even more advanced dashboard. So you can come here and you can analyze your trades. You can look at charts to see your overall performance, your equity curve. You have advanced statistics where you can see that my win rate is currently 63%. You have your score here, more details about your edge score right here. You have leaderboard that you can look at. So yeah, you have a lot of nice statistics in this more comprehensive dashboard here. But before you can get access to that, again, you must place the minimum of 20 trades and you must have an edge score of 50, and your minimum equity must be $500 or above. And then once you get to this stage, here are the 4 requirements needed to move from the seed stage to the incubation stage. So while you're at the seed stage, which I am currently at, you need a minimum equity of 500, which my equity is currently 660. You need a minimum of 30 days. I've currently been in this stage for 64 days, and you need a profit target of 7% while not losing 10% of your account. And when you lose 10%, it's not the end of the world. You enter what's called quarantine, which I think is they just don't allow you to trade for like a week or 2. So if you get a 10% drawdown, your account is not gone. You don't lose all your money. you're just not allowed to trade for 2 weeks. So as long as you don't do that and you hit your profit target of 7%, you should be fine. So you can see that my account is currently up 8%. I just haven't met the other requirements yet. And then the next one is have 20 trades. Currently I've placed 11 trades, so I need 20 trades to move from the seed stage, which I'm currently in, to the incubation stage. And in the incubation stage, this is where you actually start to get a profit share, and your profit share is 40%. Now the minimum equity increases, and this will require you to make an additional deposit if you do not already have the minimum equity, which is $1,000. So if you don't have $1,000, you'll have to make the minimum deposit. And once you make the minimum deposit and you meet the other criteria, which is trade for more than 30 days, hit the 7% profit target, and have the minimum trade requirement, this is when you head to the incubation stage. And the incubation stage, you don't just get 20k. There is a catch. So the minimum equity is $1,000, but you can see that there's a times 10 multiplier. So if you deposit $1,000, this means that your equity will be 1,000 times 10. So you'll be trading a 10k account if you have $1,000 in this account, because the multiplier is times 10. If you deposit $1,300 times 10, then you'll be trading a $13,000 account. So this is the max funding. So if you want the 20k, you have to deposit $2,000 times 10, which is 20k to get this max 20k. So I'm planning to deposit $1,500, so I'll be trading a $1,500 account. But that's how this stage works, and it's the same thing again as in the seed stage. So as long as you don't get a 10% drawdown and you hit your 7% profit target, you should be okay. So you can see that to get to the acceleration stage, what's required in the incubation stage is that you have a minimum trading day is 60 days, so basically 2 months. So you have to be in the incubation stage for a minimum of 2 months. The trades that's required per trade in this stage is 40. So you have to place at least 40 trades. You have to be in the stage for at least 60 days, and you have to hit your profit target of 7% and maintain an edge score of 70. So if you want to head to the acceleration stage, you have to have an edge score of 70, and you basically rinse and repeat. So once you head to the acceleration stage, you can see that the minimum equity even upgrades even more. And this is where the catch is with this program. This is why this is something that I look at more long term instead of like getting rich next month, or you know, I have a 1.5 to 2 year time span on this prop firm model, because you can see that the minimum deposit here, it increases to 2k. So if you have not made, let's say I deposited $1,500 and I got my profit split of 40% once I hit this profit target, and I also made some money on my live account, and now my account is at $1,900, I will not be able to make it to the acceleration stage unless I have a minimum deposit of $2,000. So now I would have to deposit again. I still have not made any withdrawals or anything, and I would have to deposit again. So if you don't have patience, this prop firm model is not for you. If you're looking for something to get rich quick and get rich overnight, then this prop firm is not for you. But if you decide that, hey, I don't like this prop firm model, it takes too long, it's not for me, I want to get rich next month or something like that, then you can just withdraw all your money that you have made. So if you deposited say $1,000 and you made $1,600, right, you can just deposit all your money and withdraw your money and leave the program. So you're not stuck, you're not stranded, because you're trading your own live account here. So once you move to the acceleration stage, now this is where you get a max funding of $100,000. And I think they changed this rule right here. They have changed their rules twice since I've been researching this prop firm. So before, you can see that the allocation that was required was 5%, which I personally think was just too low. So if you made 5%, you could move to the next stage. which is just ridiculous. You can see that they upgraded this to 7%, and I would not be surprised if in the future, maybe a year and a half or two from now, this gets upgraded to 10%. So you're required to have 10% before you move to the next stage. But that's what the requirement currently is, and they actually made a recent update that will be applied on August 1st. So on August 1st, some of this will change, and they email you when they're making these changes. So you can see that the program structure from August 1st, 2025, they're going to do two things, which is reduce the profit share in the pro stage. So you can see that in the pro stage right here, the profit split is 60, 70, 80. This is the new structure. And in the current stage, the profit split is 70, 80, 90. So they are reducing the profit split by 10%, which I think makes sense. And again, if in this future, if they reduce this by more, I completely understand, because these rules at the moment are way too lenient, and I know traders are abusing this rule. So they have reduced the profit split by 10%, and they've also increased the minimum equity required for the pro stage. So before, you can see the pro stage minimum equity was 4K, and now the minimum equity required is $5,000. And for the Pro 500, the minimum equity is $10,000, and before it was $5,000. So they increased the minimum equity that's required. But the thing about this is, let's say you're at the acceleration stage and you're okay with trading a 100K account, which is decent, which is a decent size account, and if you can get 15 to 20% annually on a 100K account, that's you're essentially getting about $10,000 to $11,000 after the profit split, and $10,000 to $11,000 a year for a lot of people, depending on where you live, is okay. So if you're in the acceleration stage and you're like, okay, I'm okay with this 100K account for now, you don't have to move to the pro stage. You can just keep your equity below the 4K and just make withdrawals. So essentially, you won't go to the pro stage right here. So if you decide to do that, you can always just stick to the 100K. And if you level up to pro and you like 200K and you believe that you're okay with 200K in funding, you don't have to upgrade to the $500,000, right? So you can just really stop and decide to make money and get your withdrawals and whatever at whatever stage you need. It is not required for you to get $1 million in funding. You can essentially stop wherever you feel. But my goal is to get to $1 million, of course, because who wouldn't want to trade $1 million, you know? So that's essentially how the model works right there. I hope that provided a bit of clarity. I had a few comments with people who were not really sure how the model works and what's required and so forth. So I hope that provided some clarity for people who did not understand. So yeah, that's about it for the video. Peace and trade safe.